Hey everyone, how you doing? So let me just first of all, for transparency, because you know what I'm like, I just keep it real. I've been eating breadsticks all morning, and I've done one thing outside the house today, and I'm now resting for a few hours. I've also got on a filter. If you wanted to see what I look like without a filter, go ahead and look at my Insight2Marketing Instagram page, because I'm always posting there with and without a filter. So yeah, just a little bit of a touch up. You know, like how some women like to cake up their face with makeup? I wear filters, so if you don't like it, you can switch off now. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about something that's become apparent to me, right? You know, I've been doing branding, marketing for over 25 years. Um, and I've always tried to encourage people and companies that I've worked with to build their brand, whether it's a personal brand or, you know, you sit behind a company and you want to show up as a company, like a Wee voice, in your own way, irrespective of what other people are doing, and also perhaps, I guess, with your own authority, right? So you don't want to be copying what anyone else is doing. You don't want to be concerning yourself too much about what's going on in terms of other people that might be doing similar to you. But one of the things that I have to say I'm recognizing now is that there's a lot of ego within personal branding in particular, but also just marketing of people, yeah? And we can have a conversation about this morning. I'm not going to stay on too long, but I want to share something with you, because I noticed that a lot of people show up one way online, and then when you see them in person, they're a completely different person. I also noticed that there are a lot of people, and this could be a little bit controversial, who buy likes and comments and pay for followers. I don't know if any of you have noticed this. So I do this so much. See if someone's in my community or I see something a bit untoward, of course my eyes are going to be bulging more than they are now, because I'm going to be like, what's going on? And long story short, you know, in the space of maybe 48 hours, 72 hours, somebody could have had an increase in following of like 6,000 people, and nobody would be any the wiser. However, because I do marketing, I'm very much aware in terms of brand building and numbers that some people's egos are driven more about how they look and numbers than they are in relation to building and monetizing brands that are credible, and building and monetizing brands that are the real them. Does that make sense? So actually reflecting where you're at right now. So I want to talk a little bit this morning very briefly about ego and influence, and how I feel we should behave in relation to building our brands and having brand authority and just being confident and being genuine. Because I feel like if we have to buy a brand followers, or we have to buy a brand's likes and comments, I mean, arguably some people say if you're in the music industry it's really important, but even for, you know, members of my family that are in the music industry, I don't recommend they do that, and they've been able to build their brand organically to like 10k in less than a year, organically, quality followers, and stripping out anyone who isn't quality. But I know that for some of us, it's a concern where our followers aren't growing quick enough, so we will run to buy followers. So I'm talking about doing a post and within literally 10 minutes, you have 180 likes. You hear what I just said? That's ego. Influence is when you're able to actually do a post and get genuine attraction to your post, because there are people that genuinely are interested in you. And there's nothing wrong, I guess, for some of us in buying influence, but I just feel there's something slightly icky about it. The reason I feel there's something slightly icky about it is because I don't feel it's a genuine reflection of where we are at. And I feel like some of us are almost cheating the system by reflecting something that we're not. So that's the first thing, influence, yeah? The second thing is in relation to ego. I feel like a lot of us, when it comes to business, have got very big egos. So very relevant to influence. But in my opinion, I don't feel that people can be influencers unless they're genuinely of influence. I don't think buying followers and buying likes and buying comments puts anyone in a position to be saying they're an influencer, personally. You can let me know in the comments. I don't mind. But I think ego is a very big thing as well. And sometimes you will encounter people that do silly things, blocking you and you know, trying to sabotage what you're doing, or you do an event, so they're doing an event. Literally within hours of you know saying you've got an event, they want to come up and do an event as well, and that's fine. And let me tell you how I see that. I see that as a great marker of success. Because if people want to follow and mimic what you're doing, or if people feel slightly threatened maybe that you're doing things, I think that's quite telling of their character rather than yours. But I think it's almost like a compliment for someone to want to be, you know, actively looking at what you're doing and mimicking it. Where I see there's a challenge though is when someone's blocking and, you know, being obstructive and deliberately doing that and then pretending as if they don't realize that's what they're doing. So the next thing I want to talk about this morning, and again, if you watch this on the replay, you can let me know, is just in relation to silly things we might say and do. And I've been there. I don't think I've ever acted unprofessionally. I'm sure some of you would tell me if I have. I've certainly called out a few people in my 9-year history. You've only got to read through some of my posts and you'll see I'm a very vocal person, and I don't mind hotting people up if need be. And I heard something so weird the other day, and I just want to pick up on it. This is not in relation to the other 2 points, but I want to say something to you. When you're building your brand, if you want to build a brand that stands for something, it's so important to just be yourself. I'm not going to use buzzwords like authentic, but it's really important to just be who you genuinely are, because what you'll find is bits of you that you haven't shown in the public will surface in the back end when you're doing events, in radio interviews, on the cuff, in live streams. And it's very hard to manage if you are not being your true self, okay? So that's about ego. So far we've covered influence and ego. The last thing I want to just explain to you is that marketing is a long-term opportunity, all right? If you're doing marketing, you should be looking at it as something that's long-term. If you know much about selling, sales funnels, if you think about business from an aspect of growth, development, then you would already know that marketing is a long-term thing, because what you're doing when you're doing marketing is you are nurturing conversations through communication, you're nurturing, you know, interest through tactics, and you're engaging and you're connecting. And for many of us, we don't instantly subscribe to a brand or instantly buy something. There will be cases when we do that, but that's very unlikely if you've come across a piece of marketing material or heard something for the first time. So I just want to reassure anyone that's under the illusion that marketing is a short term, that marketing as an activity is most definitely something that helps businesses grow over a long-term period. You might have short-term goals and long-term goals and even some middle-of-the-road goals. But what you need to recognize is that you can't get instant gratification from marketing unless it's something as simple as sign up to my newsletter, in which case you're not selling anything. You want someone to sign up, assuming you've conveyed to them what they attract, what you're giving them when they sign up. It's quite easy then, isn't it, to convert that person to an email subscriber. But when we're talking about selling, that's not so easy, especially if they've just joined your email list, they know nothing about you, they're not going to buy from you straight away. So in that sense, we have to understand marketing is not a short-term solution. It's part of a long-term plan. That's why marketing, along with other things like PR and brand development, is part of a business strategy. All right? So I just want to get that out there. In terms of developing marketing campaigns, most of them, if done correctly, are not about short-term gain. Yes, you might have some short-term activities, and yes, you might have some instant results. For example, if you ask people to click a website, maybe your goal is to attain unique visitors, and there is a difference between unique visitors and one visitor that visits 1,000 times. One visitor that visits 1,000 times is one unique visitor. 1,000 unique visitors is 1,000 different people. So we've got to be clear, first of all, who you're getting advice from when it comes to different aspects of your business. But secondly, how you're looking at your marketing. So when you look at marketing from an angle of influence and ego, you get very different outcomes than if you look at marketing in respect of nurturing conversations, engaging with people, being genuine, sharing your brand story. Because sharing your brand story, as I always say to my clients, is something that is done over a number of years. You know, a brand doesn't start in point A and still end up in point A 5 years down the line. And if they do, that's definitely something that would be of concern to me. So as your brand goes on, your marketing will develop. Your what we do, or about us, or about me section, for example, where you may share areas of your brand story, that would have to evolve too. And that's part of your marketing promotion if it sits on a website anyway. So think about your marketing in terms of a long-term plan. Think about your marketing in terms of, removing the ego, removing the buying the likes and the buying of the followers and the buying of the comments, but actually thinking about how you are going to manage tactics aside from social media. What else is involved? Because a lot of us are literally buying likes and followers on social media, and that's all we've done in terms of marketing. And I have to say, marketing is a lot more than just doing social media. Some of you haven't even explored other options, and this is why I say, social media being the perfect example, unless you're a hardcore salesperson, which I am not, social media again is a long-term thing, because nobody jumps on social media and starts selling straight away. Nobody does. And if you genuinely believe that's how social media works, you don't really get social media marketing. In addition, when you're thinking about content that converts, when you're thinking about email marketing, and when you're thinking about going out to events, it's all a long-term goal. Someone might see you at an event, pick up your marketing promotion, your material, your flyer, your brochure, your sample, but they're not necessarily going to instantly buy. So there is a long-term relationship that needs to be built, whether they join your mailing list and you start connecting with them through emails, whether they subscribe to your videos on YouTube, whether they are, having one-to-ones with you for free in the beginning, discovery calls, however you run your business. But I just want you to understand the three are related, because if you're only concerned about influence and your ego and how you look and your image, but you're not concerning yourself with the long-term impact of marketing and what that can do for your bottom line and how you can actually grow your business using branding and marketing, then we got a problem. If you're looking for instant gratification, that will be why you end up buying likes and buying comments and buying followers, and that will also be why you spew a lot of rubbish from your mouth, because you're expecting people to sign up to your numbers and sign up to your, let's say, your quantity rather than the quality of what you're sharing. So I'm just going to say this weekend, as we're now over the halfway mark for 2022, try not to be that person that's more concerned about influence and ego than you are concerned about nurturing real relationships and being yourself and being authentic and being genuine. Because that will make a really big difference, I think anyway, to how you feel as a business owner, but also to how you build your business. I hope that makes sense. Marketing isn't about instant gratification and hardcore selling, and anyone that's saying that it is to be questioned. I've been doing branding and marketing now for 26 years, and I was even doing it before that indirectly. And everything I talk about, I can evidence. I have case studies of what I do. I have client testimonials in terms of people that have made lots of money with me, people that have transformed their lives through working with me, people that have actually consistently been able to transform their business month on month from getting my support. So when I talk, I'm sharing from a point of case studies and actual people and real results. I'm not talking in terms of like just things that can't be measured. Okay. So yeah, that's it from me. I'm about stats and genuine things and people that are genuine, and that's what I attract to my brand, thank God. But for those of you that are concerning yourselves with the numbers and the quantity rather than quality, rethink that. Let me encourage you in this video today to rethink that. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.